This is a little late this week. For that, I apologize. It's the Saturday mini reading, and I think I will read at least one poem today. I wrote this a little while ago. I haven't been writing much poetry in the last week because I've been reading a lot of Plato, partly for class, but partly for graduate school applications. And this poem, as I said, I wrote a few weeks ago, and it's entitled Poem. Today, Rubens told me that Dove spent every class last year working physics problems in the back. Today, I should have told Rouvain, be careful what you say. You could end up in a poem. Or, my class doesn't require a lot of in-class work, just a lot of in-class thought. Instead, I simply smiled and nodded my best George smile and nods, my mouth moving around some tuna, some cheese, some salad, and an unknown, unnameable vinaigrette. My students do not know that all bets are on most of the time, that they can learn unlikely things in unlikely ways, that English is not physics, just like physics is not quite like anything at all, or at least anything truly useful. For example, one student I learned is Tajik, which made me wonder if he had ever thundered over the Viluyi on the Trans-Siberian, a child swaddled on the way to another train, on the way to a plane, on the way to Chicago, which is really just a figure for the hope and wonder characterizing most of my lunchtimes. I wonder about Dove, which is really a meditation on hope. When the Pistons win, I think of him, and when the Lions lose, I think of him. Imagine what he thinks of that. Either way, because of my class, he can not only string together words until they're an essay, but also take the needle nose of his mind to a writer's diction, or a pundit's beloved straw man, and calculate a vector so precisely he becomes a vector himself, bridging the gap between day and night, between good and evil, even the living and the dead, a gap I know he'd love to cross. I've written a couple of fragments, and this is incomplete rather, because they're just a collection of fragments that begin the same way. If every time I bake bread, I not only create bread, but the idea of bread, then why do my loaves always end up misshapen tumors, irregular as the skull of the star child? If every time I drink Guinness, I not only drink Guinness, but realize that I have liked Guinness the whole time, why do I look at the tar-black pints askance at the bar? If every time I sit down to write, I not only write, but sit down in the same seat, before the same words, to make the same poem from the same stuff of the same life, why every time? Have a good week.